Hi, welcome to our first module of digital entrepreneurship. In this module, we're going to understand what digital and entrepreneurship is. So we're going to dive down to the fundamentals of entrepreneurship, just by definition, what entrepreneurs are, the categories of these entrepreneurs, and the types of these entrepreneurs. So I would say, first of all, entrepreneurs are not born. They are actually made with the right skills and mindset. So many at times you would find that many believe that a certain family or a certain clique of people are just born entrepreneurs. But if you look back at these great entrepreneur stories, you will understand that it is a build-up of their right mindset and their skill set. So in an introduction, we would say that an entrepreneur is actually a person who launches, manages a new business through identification of a problem, solving it, and bringing it to market profitably. This brings us to the clear definition of entrepreneurship, which is that process of creating, launching, managing a new business, and it involves identification of business opportunities, conducting a proper market research, and actually assembling a team, strategies, and financing and marketing that idea to a profitable level. So what are the categories of entrepreneurship? We know that every process of entrepreneurship can either be small scale, large scale, scalable, or a typical social entrepreneur. Let me just define in brief each of those. A small scale business entrepreneurship, in this particular setting, this person owns and runs their own business. They typically are local entrepreneurs, and they employ family members. It's a close, tight engagement just to buy, sell for their own needs. Most of them don't really aspire to scale or go big. They remain small scale and want to remain as that. For the large company entrepreneurships, we're looking at advanced professionals who know and can sustain innovations. So that is from their domain expertise. So you'll find that they look out for problems and actually solve them with their expertise in a more profitable way. So this kind of entrepreneurship really has the potential of expansion. It can start local and go global. So for the scalable startup entrepreneurship, this entrepreneurship believe that their company can change the world. These are the innovators. These are people who come up with ideas that literally blow up markets. They come up with models that are groundbreaking. Okay, let me not insinuate, because for the person who actually founded, or will not say really found, came up with electrical bulbs and how electricity works and all that. Those are works of people who actually come up with ideas that either address human need and they are scalable, or ideas that are actually unique to the markets. Then we have the social entrepreneurship space. In this space, literally, these entrepreneurs solve social problems with the aim not really to profit, but actually to ease the pains of these areas. Most of these social entrepreneurs are dealing with cultures, the arts. Their major domain and goal is to achieve that satisfaction of a solved social problem, rather than how much profits or how much of revenues they have generated out of it. We've looked at the types of entrepreneurships, and now we have to look at the type of entrepreneurs. This will bring another angle to it, because with the different sectors of entrepreneurship also comes different personalities of entrepreneurs. So I will give you the 4 key types of entrepreneurs in matters personality, which embodies their skill set and also their mindset. So we have the first type of entrepreneurs, who are the innovators. Innovators come up with completely new ideas, and they turn them into viable businesses. For example, the Steve Jobs, the Larry Pages. These are people who actually changed the way things are done, from the conception of computers and moving into the digital age. Right now, as we talk of digital economies, we always think of where Steve Jobs started and where we are now. The other type of entrepreneurs will be the imitators. The imitators are my favorite kind of entrepreneurs because they literally do not innovate, rather they copy certain business ideas and models and translate them really nicely, either to different markets and actually bring out new opportunities out of those ideas. So I would say imitators usually ride on the innovators, the people who have started this, but they copy it and bring a I would say more value propositions out of the ideas. Then we have the researchers. The researchers will literally take their time to gather all the relevant information, analyze them from different angles, just to get the satisfaction of, I always say they have a no-fail kind of motivation. Unfortunately for businesses, you do not eliminate all the risks. You actually create ways out for those risks or weigh the risks measures. So researchers literally will ponder about an idea, I would say longer than they would actually execute it. Their major competitors or people who beat them to their game will be the imitators who will find the research work and go develop the thing anyway. So the other category are the buyers. Buyers are entrepreneurs who have the wealth. They have the ability to actually identify viable businesses and actually acquire them. And they're not innovators, they will not imitate, but they have an affinity of businesses' viability. They have the quick assessment of it and can actually build businesses out of their smallness and lead them into very large-scale businesses. So those are the types of entrepreneur and personalities we'll be looking at, because every entrepreneur will fall into a particular basket. You could be an imitator in a way that you've looked at an idea that has been built, but you feel like there is more to be done in this. So you end up bringing up more value propositions out of it. You're an innovator and you just clearly want to create the brick out of soil, or just come up with a more redefining way of doing things. You're also a researcher in terms of you're gathering enough information about an idea to the part of you're literally reducing its ability to fail at a very early stage. Or you could be a buyer and you have the command of being able to purchase businesses. So your key lookout will be, is it viable? If it is viable, then can I buy it and scale it out? Those are the type of entrepreneurs we do have. So with a brief introduction that we've done on entrepreneurship and entrepreneur, the types of entrepreneurship and actually the type of entrepreneurs, I'll give you 4 quick pop quizzes questions for you to just answer or reminisce about. What model of entrepreneurship really fits you? Are you a social entrepreneur? Are you an innovator? What basket would you fit in terms of entrepreneurship? The second thing to think about would be, how would you describe yourself as an entrepreneur? Are you the imitator? Are you a buyer? Are you a researcher? What are the early stages of you thinking about even diving into entrepreneurship or the entire process? This definition of yourself and understanding and discovery of yourself is very important, because at the early stages of you gaining the skill and the mindset of an entrepreneur, there's a persona that will always come out of you. And if you're a natural researcher, you might find yourself really taking much time in researching over your idea than actually diving into the market. If you're more of an innovator, you spend time really looking out of opportunities that make you disrupt the market, rather than if you're an imitator and you're really concerned on how these people have done this, but how can I do it better? How do I copy this with more value? So number 3, I would like you to just Also define yourself through a personal statement and just give yourself what you really aspire to become. You could be a researcher, but you feel like, I think at this point I really need to dive into more innovation. I could copycat this and actually bring value out of it. So you can pick 3 entrepreneurship models from what we have highlighted and create your own case in terms of, if I would be an imitator, I would actually pick this company and bring this value more than what they're doing now. Create a case for yourself, and at the end of this introduction, you can literally submit it on the click below. Okay, so we have described an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship, we've looked at the types and the types of entrepreneurs, and now we want to get into the research world and read some stories of previous entrepreneurs and entrepreneurships that have been really interesting. And I introduced to you one case, which we are going to use majorly for our introduction. I usually call it the Clone Kings case. And this is a case we're going to use the entrepreneur personality of the imitator. And in this case, we're going to discuss the Swama brothers. These are the 3 brothers, Oliver, Mark, and Alexander. And the story is available on even YouTube. When you go through your research, you can go through it. And I will pick a quote from what was really different about them. And they will always say, we are builders of companies, we are not innovators. That's what Oliver would say. And this approach was really bold, and it went through for years in the history of entrepreneurship. And the approach seemed to be very bizarre, as they would pick concepts that are working in the US and Asia and replicate those approaches with new models with high barriers of interest. And at this point, the brothers appeared like copycats. They're actually called the copycat billionaires. And so the copycat brothers were thinking, why can't the US eBay actually work in Germany? And that was their motivation. So every kind of entrepreneurship has its own motivation. And for the imitator and the copycat, they always were wondering why one product or one idea or one geographical region maybe would not work in another geographical region. So in this case, they came up with ways to actually build up businesses, literally copy them to other countries, most of interest. And we have various examples of what they have done. My video came from YouTube. We have Windu that came from the Airbnb. And many other companies that they came up with. Their stories are well articulated at thewired.com and YouTube. And in most cases, the brothers flipped these companies literally and brought them to originals with better propositions and establishment, and even managed to even take them public. That's why they're really famous for this copycat kind of entrepreneurship. So as you reflect, think of the great milestones that the brothers have actually managed to get, even historical and in the space of entrepreneurship, just through copycatting. Copycatting doesn't mean like you do not have the creative in you. It means that you're looking at other possibilities of market expansions. You're looking at other possibilities of application of products. So it's also a space that is very competitive, and if anything, if we could translate most of the global ideas and apply them in our local ecosystems, we will have even more startups, more disruptive ideas that will appear like copycats, but the point of application will differ and bring different synergies in different markets. So the key take-homes for this case would be, I would say, success favors the swift. Don't wait to perfect ideas or a perfect timing. What I really appreciate with these brothers is that their speed of even copying the ideas was kind of swift, and it actually matched the markets that they went into, because the ideas were already refined by the innovators, but the application is what they came in quickly to do. The other thing is that you need to copy intelligently, because model replications have repercussions. Again, you might try so hard to fit into the originator's playbook, but you still have to create your own blueprint, even when you're doing the copycat, and to actually bring more value to what was already done, as opposed to doing the same thing and putting a different name on it without even adding value into it. So another take home would be you need to partner powerfully, because one of the things that the brothers did was actually ensure that even in their copying, they had really great partners to bring that to light. And most of the things that they could not actually articulate on their own, they had partners for that. So for our quiz in the Fundamentals of Entrepreneurship, we are going to select an entrepreneurship case of your choice. In this case, we have covered the imitators in the case of the brothers. So we're going to pick a different sector of it. We're going to look at the hustler and the innovator. You will pick one of the two, either the innovator or the hustler. You're going to map out their journey from your research, and also you're going to lay out the wins and misses, just the same way we've done with the brothers, so that we see what did these innovators get right and what did they not get right, and what happens to the hustler kind of mentality when it comes to, in entrepreneurship. So we're going to give an overview of the world of entrepreneurship from the stories that you're going to get in your research, and actually highlight which ones are your favorites, which ones do you feel more compelling than others. So in conclusion, digital entrepreneurship is not a type of entrepreneurship or a type of entrepreneur. Actually, from our summaries, we've done what an entrepreneur is and the types of entrepreneurship, and we need now to introduce the digital to the entrepreneur so that we articulately define who a digital entrepreneur is and what digital entrepreneurship really is.